and it can be really damaging to our perception, to our self-confidence, to our self-worth, if we are constantly striving to be this elusive perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to be moving into appearance. Oh boy, do I have a lot to say about this. Okay, I'm going to try and structure this a little bit in my head before I speak. Appearance is the easiest thing to get caught up in the world. My entire, YouTube presence, basically, other than my singing channel, but I don't really upload to my singing channel anymore, so it's basically just this, is focused on essentially what I look like. Because I do makeup videos, I do hairstyling videos, I do fashion videos, I do vintage styling videos, and it's all kind of about what I look like. Even if I'm showing you a makeup look, I'm showing you how it looks on my face. And in the world of airbrush, in the world of Instagram, Snapchat filters, in the world of let me just edit this photo to hell, like all of my Instagram photos are edited. Every single one of them. I do not put up a photo that I don't change the brightness, change the contrast, change the saturation, change the highlights, change the shadows. Every single photo that I have is edited, and you look naturally more smooth and lovely in photos anyway. So I feel like Instagram photos can be the most damaging thing, because you look at these people and you're like, oh my god. Like, especially as I've been coming more into the vintage world over the last year, I've been following a lot more vintage Instagrammers, vintage people, and it can be very overwhelming looking at these people who have these perfectly shot, perfectly filtered, outfits with the perfectly styled hair and the perfectly styled clothes and the makeup and blah 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 blah, and it can just be like, oh boy, okay, I'm just filming this in my bedroom and I take my photos myself on my phone, and it can feel quite scary. And there's always, again, this need to show yourself as being perfect. Edit out your acne, edit out any darkness, edit out any imperfections on your face or on your body. I personally suffer with eczema. I've suffered with eczema my entire life. I used to have it in the creases of my elbows really, really badly. I used to get it on my neck. I used to get it on my chest, and I got it on my legs. And now that I'm grown up and 20 years old, it's gone from my elbows and my neck and my chest and all stuff like that. But it's remained on my legs, and it's particularly bad on my ankles. And whenever I film a lookbook, or any styling video where I show my legs, I'm really conscious of it. And, especially when it flares up, it's actually really, really good right now, but when it flares up and I have, lots of flaky skin and scabs and full, horrible, I feel really horrible about it, and it's horrible to feel so critical of your own body. And obviously I know that there are things like really terrible body image issues, but I'm not really going to talk about that in this video because I wouldn't be able to cover it in the depth that I want to. So I'm kind of going to avoid that if you don't mind. But yeah, I remember going through sixth form, it got really, really bad, and it was bad for most of my sixth form life. And I used to get not only really bad scabs, but I used to get spots on my legs because of the itching. And when it was healing, it would go very red and purple and blotchy. So my legs would constantly be red and purple and blotchy and spotty and scabby and just horrible. And I was on every single prescription thing. I tried every single cream I could think of. And it got better, and then it got worse, and I just constantly felt ashamed. I felt embarrassed because my legs didn't look perfect, and I felt like I needed to cover them up. even though the thing I needed was to let them breathe and let the air get to them, I felt like I should be covering them up because my legs weren't flawless. And I was so jealous of other girls that had just like these perfect airbrushed looking legs, it seemed like to me, when it's just, you know, in fact what most people's legs look like. And I still have massive insecurities over how my legs look. You know, I was in a showcase recently, I was in a dance, and we did the dance in leotard and ballet skirt and shorts, and I was amazed at how frightened the notion of having that much of my legs on show made me, especially because we couldn't have tights because we needed our bare feet to have grip on the floor. I was amazed at how nervous I was, and it showed me that this need and this pressure that I had put on myself to be perfect, even if I thought I had grown out of it, I really hadn't, and that there are some scars of myself that I need to work a lot more on. But I feel like I've digressed so much. But basically that whole little anecdote is just to show you that everyone has insecurities. Everyone has something that they do not like about themselves or that they wish was different. I get so many people comment on my Instagram pictures or comment sometimes even in real life saying, oh, you're so pretty, but some people use the word like flawless, or oh, you're so perfect all the time, or oh, you look so perfect all the time. And I'm like, I really don't, I know you're trying to say it as a compliment, and I know that's the way it's intended, but I feel like there's something, I'm not a Barbie doll. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination in my appearance, and I almost don't want to be, because I feel like perfect is this static, unchanging, fixed state, and I love being able to grow and evolve. I love how my fashion sense has evolved into vintage, and even the vintage style itself keeps evolving, and I keep finding new ways that I like to dress, new styles that I like, new ways to do my hair. And I think especially with vintage styling, it can be very, you can feel like there is this pressure. But what you need to know is that vintage styling especially there's such this sense of doing things yourself and exploring and experimenting and finding the ways that you want to do it. And I feel like even in the 1940s and 50s, the women pin curled their hair themselves. The women made a lot of clothes themselves, and they made their own stockings and they mended them when they broke, and just everything was very homemade almost, and that was what was beautiful about it. 1940s curls and 1930s curls especially were all over the place. They weren't perfect. They went where they went. And even in the 1950s, with the polished veneer that they wanted to put over everything, there was still this sense of homemadeness and of doing things yourself, and of creating the image that you wanted. And I really like that, and I feel like that's one of the reasons that I'm drawn to vintage fashion, is because I love the vintage look in that it's very self-made. And that's why I don't think that you should try to be perfect. I don't think that you should look at other people, other Instagrammers, other influencers, and go, oh my god, they're doing this, so I should be doing this because they look so perfect. They're not perfect. They don't look perfect every day. I don't look perfect every day. I don't think I look perfect ever, but I don't look like the way I look at my Instagram pictures is, I take Instagram pictures because I think I look really pretty, and I think it'll fit the aesthetic of my feed, and I want to show it. But there are days like today when my hair, I got in the shower this morning and I can't be bothered. I'm going to curl my hair overnight, so it's just in a bun with a little curl at the front, and that's that. Vintage does not mean that you have to look perfect every day. No style means that you have to look perfect every day. I promise you, no matter who you idolize, they do not look perfect, and they do not look perfect as you see them every single day. I mean, people say Kim Kardashian, constantly looks perfect. In seen how much makeup that woman puts on? Like, not in a derogatory way, just in a, like, you're saying that she looks gorgeous, but none of the skin that you see has anything less than 4 layers of makeup over it. So of course you think she looks perfect, because the products are giving you that illusion. Everything in the celebrity world, everything in the fashion world, everything in the beauty world, everything in the vintage world is about illusion. And I think we need to remind ourselves of that a lot, and to tell ourselves that, you know, hey, I don't have much time today, or I just don't feel like I want to do the whole vlog today. I'm just gonna put a bit of lippy on and put my hair in a bun and leave the house, and that's fine. Or I don't have time to choose an elaborate, you know, really well thought out outfit. I'm just gonna put this on and go, and that's fine. And that can be a perfectly valid choice. You know, you don't have to put yourself under so much pressure every single day. The world has so many pressures already. Please don't add more to yourself. It's fine. You're fine. You're fine. I feel like I'm rambling. I'm trying desperately to think of what I wanted to say, what I wanted to cover, and I don't know if I've done it, but I think I've made good points, so I'm happy with it. YouTube videos are the epitome, I feel, of this idea of perfection, especially for me, because I look at other YouTubers and I'm like, oh my god, like their videos are always so pretty and so perfect, and why aren't my videos like that? And then I remember that's because I'm filming on an old camera held up by a stack of DVDs in my bedroom. I have no studio lighting, so natural light is the way. I just sit in front of my window and I film what I like, and I film what makes me happy. And that's what I think YouTube should be. You should always come out of a video going, oh, I really liked that, like, I'm proud of this. And that's, I think, that's what we should strive for. Perfection is not attainable, but you should strive to do things that you're proud of. You should strive to do things to the best of your ability, and you should strive to grow as a person, as a creator, as a dancer, as a mathematician, as a scientist, as an astrologer, as a singer, as a dressmaker, as a stylist, as whatever you are and whatever it is that you want to be. You should not strive for perfection. You should strive to be the best that you can be with the skills that you have in that time, and to develop those skills to be the best you can be in the future. And I think that would be way more beneficial to your mindset, to your health, both mental and physical, and to the world around you. So I think that is a suitably cheesy message to leave on. It's not cheesy, it's true, it's wonderful. And just to leave you with a final thing, something that I think is really helpful for avoiding perfection culture is positive affirmations. So I have on this board, I have a bunch of things that I like to remind myself of, and this board says, I am not stupid, I am learning, I am not lost, I am searching, I am not failing, I am learning. And I think those are the best kind of things that you can tell yourself every single day, to just remind yourself that you're human, you're fluid, you're growing, you're changing, you're evolving, and you don't want to be perfect. You want to be yourself, and you want to evolve in yourself. So I would recommend getting a little positive affirmations board of your own. So that is it. I know it wasn't like specifically a beauty or hairstyling or anything video, but it's a video about a subject that I really care about. So I hope that within this 25 minutes, oh my god, I hope I'll edit it shorter, I gave you some good tips, and something about this was helpful, I really hope, for you all. Please don't forget to press subscribe if you enjoyed it, and press the notification bell so that you never miss a video. My Instagram is at @averyvintagedarling, and my Twitter is at @thevintagedarling, and I will leave all of my links in the description. I just uploaded a new blog post on some lovely outfits, so hopefully you will enjoy that. That is it. I love you all, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye!